Hi everyone, welcome back. It's a lovely day up here in New England and I've got the door shut with the AC on no matter what. But we're working on the late model. If you're new to the channel or a returning viewer, thank you so much for watching. I greatly appreciate it. Please consider subscribing if you have not already. It would help me a ton. I'm not doing it for fame. I'm doing it so that maybe, perhaps someday, but I kind of doubt it, maybe Google will buy me tires. I don't know. Tell your friends if you think that they're into this sort of thing, and maybe cars in general or mechanical stuff or whatever the case may be. Working on the late model today because, I don't know, I'm just trying not to get frustrated with working on the street stock, and it's tough to not have a lot of races and try to figure something out because, you know, if I ran a full schedule of races, then it would be pretty easy for me to go and figure it out because I'd be there every week and I'd have time to actually work on the car and try things, and you know, I'd have 18 different tries at it in 1 year and I'd probably figure something out by now. But you figure I race only 6 times a year part-time at Thompson because that's how many races they have, and essentially 3 years would be one full season. Now, I feel like we've made really decent strides in the last couple races on trying to get the car to turn, but, well, it turns fine. It's going, that's the problem. I can't get the car to go properly. So, again, we're still working on it. I think we'll figure it out. If not, I'll abandon it and go to Stafford, where the rules favor what I used to do anyway. So, again, we're back here. We're working on the late model because I really want to get it going. I do. I want to get the car going. There's a huge list of things to do. I mean, look, there's not even a body on the thing. I mean, I'm nutting and bolting the thing, and I'm finding all sorts of wacky problems, and the more I look at the car, the more I question why I went to the problem of purchasing it in the first place. But I guess I enjoy a challenge. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't be able to afford it in the first place. So, anyway, why don't I show you some of the fun stuff that I found on this car if I haven't already, just so maybe you can get a chuckle out of it as I have as well. For starters, you look at the thing and it's pretty clean. I mean, we'll get to it. Except for this, which I don't think is even welded on, which is going away. These are just loading springs. They're not even, if you look at them, they're like kind of curved, like they're bent. So yeah, they're definitely for loading and trailering only. And they're so sun bleached, it looks like they came from the 1970s. They're disgusting. But yeah, look at this. Looks like someone's first day with a welder. And these mounts are pretty hideous anyway. Everything else looks great. The clip is manufactured. It's a Howe clip. A lot of the bars that are actually connected to it are actually nice. The engine runs great. Lots of good oil pressure. Doesn't smoke. Doesn't make any weird noises. But you tell somebody really dolled it up because I got the old Craigslist rebuild going on and I can scrape it off. But that's okay. I'd rather it looks nice. I just wish they'd taped it off. For how much lead came in this car, it was probably worth the purchase value. Because holy crap, there is a ton of lead in this car. Every component on the car, with the exception of that, looks brand new except for the loading stuff. By the way, the brakes, there's another thing I found wrong. Those are backwards. This is a different brand, and that's on backwards too, so I'll probably have to swap the hubs on that. I came back here and I'm like, wonder why the brake pedal's so soft. We got a scalloped rotor on the back here and a round rotor over here. That's great. I mentioned that the brakes had soft pad. By the way, this muffler, I'll get to that because I had to buy that. Now, you see someone put a scalloped rotor back here, but not a scalloped rotor over there. I'm sure they're doing some kind of fancy trickery with different types of brake rotors and trying to get the car to turn using braking force and all sorts of fun stuff. Well, that's great, except for the fact that if you look down here, can you see the gap in between the piston, or the pads and the rotors on both sides? You can see a little bit. Well, that's because the pads are riding not on the rotor face, but on this little worn lip right here. So you hit the brakes and the top part squeezes together until it makes contact, but the bottom is riding on this stupid little lip on this bottom side instead of actually on the pad face, making the pedal soft. Anyway, the exhaust. You see I got a nice brand new legal Flowmaster that you're supposed to run, or not a Flowmaster, it's a MagnaFlow. Jeez, doesn't matter. Neither of them are giving me money anyway. Well, it's not finished, number one. Number two, it's got a squeeze clamp on it like that on both sides. P.S. The inner muffler, see how it's centered on one side, but it's offset on the other? Yeah, that's not legal. That's not the same part number. That's why I bought that. So, I have to go through and make the entire exhaust system again. And like I was saying before, if you're a racer and you have these clamps, don't. The only reason you use these clamps on your race car is for this. Welding them to the chassis and mounting your pipe to it, which this one is loose. Thankfully, I can get rid of that. However, I still got to finish the exhaust. I still got to finish the interior. I don't even know how I'm going to mount the belts or the seat. I don't even know if I'm going to use that seat, because I don't think I'm going to. I just know that I'm going to be sitting around that very specific spot, which is where I set the the steering shaft in a previous video. The quick change looks real clean until you look up close and realize that, yeah, it's also been Krylon rebuilt. The rear suspension in the car is hilarious to me because I don't have any clue where the Panhard bar mounts. Is it here to this bar with all the booger welds? Nope, that's just the mount you can't take off because somebody butted up against this also booger welded fuel cell mount, which I'm going to probably be replacing if I value my life. Are we connected to this Panhard bar mount, which has been cut in half and re-welded? Oh no, that's another bar that's completely unnecessary. Oh, we put it over there. All right, I guess I'll work with that or change that at some point, who knows. This car also looks like it's been garaged in something rather humid for quite a while because there's a little bit of flaking on the chassis, which I'd like to grind off and repaint. But given all those minor little things, you know, a few questionable welds here and there and parts not being on properly and various trickery to try to make the car handle better by means of not actually making it handle better and using gimmicks, lack of overall space in the cockpit. Oh, I didn't even show you this. Here's the hole for the shoulder harness. That's all sharp metal and has exposed belts inside the rear area of the car so that, you know, if you kick hot rocks and rubber off your rear tires, they'll just impact your belts all day and, you know, weaken them so that when you hit the wall, you crash and die. Or if you catch fire, they just melt your belts. If you want something good, you pay for it. If you want something you got to work on, you don't. So, again, and this isn't a commentary on the very specific people who owned this car before me because they were just genuinely nice people. I'm just saying that I'm a very particular person and that's how I want things to be done, and that's how I'm going to do them. So I don't even know where to start first, but I think we should start on the important stuff, getting it running, working, and driving, and then last we'll put the body on. Okay? Plus there's a whole big to-do about the body, so fair warning on that. Today I'm thinking just cleaning, and then probably start taking the exhaust apart so that I can start fitting up new stuff, because coupled with that nice shiny new muffler over there, I have this giant cardboard box full of 3-inch exhaust tubing. Now, why did I buy 3-inch tubing instead of like the maximum 3.5-inch tubing that the rule book for these cars allows? Well, it's simple. That is a crate motor. If you put 3.5-inch exhaust tubing, you're paying way too much money for way too big of an exhaust pipe for 400 horsepower. You're not going to gain anything over 3 inches. It's not going to matter, especially because the mufflers are only 3-inch. So what are you going to do? I only need a few pieces because I think that these parts outside of the muffler, well, not the muffler, but the, collector here, these mid pipes might be fine for me to just kind of hang on to, and then I'll just, maybe have to cut, weld, and finagle those. But what I really wanted to do was I wanted to kind of put the mufflers in so that, the exhaust would come out here and just go like straight out the side of the car. I really don't think that's going to happen, but if I just kind of put them where they are, I could make them dump right here straight to the ground and not be anywhere close to this suspension component or that center bar for the lead or this Panhard bar. So it's just great packaging. These mufflers are a lot quieter than the old Howe mufflers used to be, and I can get this done in a jiffy, really without a heck of a lot of work, because who wants to do all that? So if you were wondering what you should use for clamps, instead of these exhaust type clamps that you get at AutoZone, which you could only ever use on your street car because they distend the metal and they dent it in and you still can't get whatever you're working on off of, because you have to be able to get them off in order to inspect them, you use these. These are friction clamps. They slide right over the pipe and it holds the muffler side and the pipe side together in a almost 360 degrees. And you can just unbolt them and they come apart and you just slide them off. I use them on my street stock. It's perfect. Obviously, that's going to be another video. But I'll be honest with you, it's really nice working in the garage with no body on the car, because I have about 1 million miles of room to go run around in here and move and stuff. Except this car is also probably, I'd say, 6 inches wider at least, at the very minimum. So I have to tiptoe around the car when it comes to working around it. Anyway, I have done enough talking. It's time for me to get back to work. I think we're gonna cut the exhaust out first and see what's in my hair. It's gone. I know the time lapses kind of go by a little bit quick, but I was kind of messing around in the video with checking out spark plugs and stuff, and I got, really super oh boy, I don't like that spark plug wire. Add that to the list. But I get super ADHD about race cars, and I don't know why. It's like, ooh, look, a shiny piece, and I go there. I'm like, ooh, I'm curious about this. So I'll go clean the carburetor. No, I was working on the spark plugs. Wait, I got exhaust to do. Hey, do these brakes go the right way? It's just, I gotta focus on one stupid thing at a time and just kind of work on that. So I got the exhaust off. Then it looks like he had half of my idea, because I mean, you tell me which one was the new one. I'm pretty sure this is the one I bought, because this one has a little bit of heat discoloration from the car running. Other than that, it's really hard to tell these two apart. I mean, this one's got a little bit of red paint right here. So these are the legal mufflers for the ACT, American Canadian Tour, which is what this late model is pretty much made for. Again, I got a couple things out of it. I got a really poorly cut piece of pipe, which could be useful for a turn down. Not going to count it out yet. I got another giant piece of pipe that I don't even know if I could use sitting somewheres, but we're down to the point where we are at just the headers and mid pipes. So I'm going to start slapping mufflers in, just, slip fitting them, because it's easy to do. There's no body on the car. Just start slip fitting them, see where they go, and then we might come over here, crack this box open, and see what pipes I need. Watch me just need enough pipe to just make a turn down and end up with like 15 feet of, exhaust pipe that I never really needed to buy the box for. That's just usually my luck. I found another thing that people are very ambitious over, and that's using nylon lock nuts on exhaust. I'll let you in on a little secret. When these heat up, the nylon melts. That doesn't really help after that. So, I think I'm gonna change that. Geez, I don't know who welded this on, but it looks like it indented the collector on this thing. And that's not sitting straight either. You can see it's cockeyed. So I'm gonna take that off, clean that up. It looks like the pipe itself isn't so bad. I got the right side pipe off, and it's indented inside. You can see that. And the material is just paper thin. So I guess I might be remaking these mid pipes as well, which kind of was my idea all along. I'm probably going to need more clamps, obviously. I'm sure that I could just, go to local auto parts store, you name it, and get those. But I bought the whole kit in anticipation of having to do exactly that. So at least I planned ahead. So both of the mid pipes are now out. I literally got this one out by tapping it with a 7/16 wrench. And you can see that, no, it in fact was not put on very well because of how off that wear pattern is. It should be, straight. So I'm probably going to pull the header out just to cut those off and clean them up. Get at least 2 more of those friction clamps just so I can put the whole exhaust on and be able to remove it. And man, I'll tell you what, this type of setup with the up and over headers and exhaust and stuff, this is really nice to work on. I'm not underneath a car trying to hold something above my head. I can reach in and do it. This is nice, trust me. This is actually pretty great. But again, everything needs to get cleaned up. Luckily, I don't think this one, oh good, this one's good. That one needs to get cleaned up. So we'll get that one off, clean it off, polish it up. Probably pick up a couple more of these pinch clamp thingies at Rock Auto or O'Reilly's or AutoZone or Advance Auto Parts or Napa or whatever the case may be, and we'll get them on and going while I put these tools away. All right, I got the exhaust header off. Don't look as bad as I thought. Looks like what they did when they took this little piece here and they squished it, they actually made it wider. So if you keep the internal volume of a header the same, like as this, if you made it more narrow but made it wider, you're not hurting power. Quick secret. Now you see how these headers are made for the cylinder head that's being used. I believe I have a 603 head here. Aluminum headed engine. It's got the half moon shaped exhaust port here. See how it kind of goes flat and see how it kind of goes flat on the bottom and then rolls up and around. See how the header actually is the same way so that it will meet that. When you put your exhaust gasket on, they need to match, because when they put it up against it, you can see, hey, there's a lot of excess around that area that you can see is burned off because, well, it doesn't match. Look how much area you're giving up. You're basically choking off your exhaust by having the wrong gaskets. You can find the right gaskets if you just go search around Rock Auto for different cylinder head designs. Like, I think that these are more relative to something like, hang on, let me find it on the shelf. This is an earlier LT1 style manifold. Now you'll see the similarities. Flat bottom, round top, flat bottom, round top. See? I used to use this on my old 602 crate before they allowed headers. You can find these gaskets for a 1996 or so Caprice or Impala with the LT1. Same gaskets. Just make sure that they fit when you put them on, that's all. Like I said, you don't want any interference. It's probably not really worth a hell of a lot, but you never know. It probably, well, could be. As it's Saturday and I got family stuff to do, I'm going to wrap it up for the day. I don't know when I'm going to actually get to working on this next, because in, let's see, Sunday, Monday, 2 days from now, I am getting LASIK surgery. And I don't know how long I'm going to be out of the shop for. Hopefully not too long, but I don't want to chance getting something in my eyes after getting surgery, because I have to have the more invasive one where it's like a week's worth of recovery instead of like 2 days. So that'll be fun. But otherwise, we'll figure it out, and I'll see you when I get back here. So this is me now. I know, not great. That's okay. I'm already being smart. I already bought safety eyewear just because I knew that this laser eye surgery that I got was going to be a way for me to now have to remember to put on glasses, because, yeah, I lived basically my entire life with safety glasses in place in the form of my regular glasses, I suppose. So I'm already getting used to it. It's been well over a week and I haven't been in the shop at all. I still can't really see completely clear yet. Like, by the end of this week, I will have been out of work for 2 weeks because I just can't see properly. I had the PRK, laser corrective surgery, not LASIK, different, but it's a lot of people, I think, I can't remember, someone will correct me if I'm wrong, but like if you have cataract, I think you get PRK or something like that. But I guess due to my eyes biological makeup, I couldn't get the regular LASIK. I had to get this one, and it is taking a long time to heal. I'll tell you what, I am on this actually today, as I'm filming, is exactly 1 week since I had the surgery, and I don't know, I think it's coming around. I'm starting to be able to read certain things, and I'm starting to kind of get some of my clear vision back, but not really. And it's tough. It's really tough. So I decided that I'm probably spending too much time in my house where the air conditioning is constantly on and I'm getting dry air and my eyes are drying out because they're not healed properly. And I said, you know what? Let's go out in the sweaty garage and put some safety glasses on, because technically my eyes are healed, but they have to still refine so that I can see clearly. Because basically, when you get this done, you're essentially taking the entire lens off of your eyes, or the outer lens, and it has to rebuild itself, and that needs to harden up and refine itself so that you can see clearly, and I'm not there yet. So hopefully I'll be there in 2 weeks when I got to go racing again. But this thing, it needs the exhaust put back on it, and I'm sick of sitting around. But I'm going to try to get the exhaust headers back put together and start mocking up the exhaust at least, because I don't feel like firing up open headers to try to move this thing around. I'm going to try to do stuff that doesn't involve a lot of debris flying for now, like cutting and chopping and welding. Okay. Okay, so this is going to be a little more involved than I was really hoping, and I'm probably going to get a little bit more in depth in here. It has these mounts already built, but I think these were more for the old style Howe mufflers instead of these, because those were very, very small. They were basically the size of the pipe. These are like car mufflers. Those pipes that were existing on the mid pipes out of the headers here, they're not really the right angle for what I need. I don't know exactly what I would need for this, so I'm probably gonna have to basically start from scratch, but that's okay because I thought ahead. And I went on eBay, whatever the other cheap place is, and I purchased a whole bunch of tubing and corners and bends. And I mean, look, they even like slip in together and stuff, and I got 45s and 90s and all sorts of junk and straight pipes and whatever I need I got here. So I'm gonna have to start doing them one at a time. And I guarantee welding is gonna be involved. All right, so I rifled through the old exhaust parts box that I got, and it looks like on first glance that I can use the two old pieces that were with the car, probably because they're mostly two-piece, right? So I can cut them apart and shorten them up a little bit with I leave the flange right here where my pinky's touching, and I can do the same thing to the longer one right here. I could shorten that one up, and that should, I don't know if it actually will or not, actually go together. Now for this one, it's got to have a whoop-de-doo put in it to make it over there. But if I shorten this pipe up like that and shorten it down a little bit and then take that pipe and kind of do the same thing. If I basically shorten everything, I can create another piece that'll go in there. It looks like all the angles, it looks like it's 245, so it should work. This one looks like all the angles, I should make it work. So all it is right now is just kind of cutting, splicing, and shortening, and then welding to get the pieces to fit where I need them to fit. So I was able to make that inner one actually work. Yeah, down here, little bit short on the turn, but not too bad. I still got to weld it here. Just give her a little zip so it doesn't come apart. Probably zip it underneath too, but I'll do that when I get the welder out. This one's kind of going to stink. It's going to come pretty close to that, but I think we'll be all right. And I got it clamped on. Hopefully that should be all right. Then I'm going to need a clamp for the very end here. Somebody put these exhaust clamps in just to mount it to the chassis, so I was just going to use those. And basically this is what I was going to do. I was just going to stick a turn down on it, just let her dump here because it's a really halfway decent spot, except for trying to make an adjustment to this to that, but I guess we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. It should be easy to take off. I'm just going to use the same clamps that are basically just friction clamps, so you just unbolt it and just slide it right out like that. So, you know, just 2 bolts and you can take it apart if you're ever going to make an adjustment here on the lower. But it's tough to package with these type of big street mufflers, but I wanted to keep it as low as possible as well, just because, you know, I want it to be low in the car. I don't want it hanging out in the air, and it's got a good mount, so I wanted to kind of reuse it. I know I'm still kind of getting used to me not having glasses either, but I'm going to take it easy. I'm going to go inside. I know there's still a lot of daylight left. It is a little bit hot out, and I haven't been outside for a week. I haven't exercised in like a week, and I really kind of need that to live, so I'm going to try to just limp into it a little bit. I know I haven't had a video out in a while, but I kind of told y'all that I was going to go out for surgery, and I didn't know when I was going to come back, but that's kind of the plan right now. So I got one more pipe to do, a couple more welds, a little more cutting. At least I got safety glasses now, and I'm not too scared of getting my self in the way and actually doing some fabrication work. So I got to dig the welder out, but I'll probably do that later this week or even tomorrow. I don't know, because I'm not really cleared to drive at work yet. So I think we'll go and do that tomorrow or the next day. So I'll be back in the shop later. It's the next day and I'm already tired. I had to go outside and at least try to clean my yard up by mowing it, which not a great idea. I haven't really done anything for like 2 weeks, and exerting myself in any way makes me exceptionally tired for no good reason. So I came up with another solution for protecting my eyes and making sure that nothing happens to them. I got these. I don't know, I went to Tractor Supply and paid 25 bucks for some DeWalt glasses, and I need to put my eye drops in right now, but I'm starting to come up with a solution for the right side pipe. It's gonna require cutting, it's gonna require welding. I just haven't quite figured out where to do each yet, so trying to figure that out now, and I think I have to do it in very minor steps so that I can actually start to fit it together. When I had the header off, I really wish that I had gone through the collector and made sure that it would fit the pipes that I bought. It fit the pipes that were on the car just fine, but the pipes I bought, a little thicker steel, a little harder to get on, so I have to take these 45s that I bought and pirate those, but this little flange right here, that, you know, the slip-on part, a little too long, so I'm going to try cutting that down so that it actually fits in the car, and then I'm going to lay another piece of pipe over it. I'm just going to have to use both 45s that I have because I bought the kit, I might as well use them. And I'm going to have to figure out where to cut and weld. So that's kind of where we're at right now, and a little better protection is always not a bad thing, I guess. So I had to take a bit of length out of the initial pipe. So I got that cut down. And you might be asking, well, what are these 2 pieces of tape doing here? Well, I got that for you right here. If you want to cut a section of pipe out, what you can do is you can use tape, and you just kind of lay it gently until it basically meets completely square around a pipe. And I use this to space it like this, kind of, you know what I mean? And it's not the most precise way of doing it, but you know what? It actually works really, really well, because if you put this thing together, that's actually really, really close. I didn't even grind that except for beveling the crap off of it. You could TIG weld that. I mean, I could, but I'm not very good at it yet. I haven't really practiced except for the one time I did it. But yeah, that's how you can cut some pipe to pretty precise. You can use it for inside measurement and do one side of it, or an outside measurement and do one side of it, or you can do like I did and stack it up to get a measurement. Do whatever, but like if you didn't have this exact length, you could, like I said, run one around one side for the inside, run one around the other side for the inside, cut inside the lines. Be creative. But that's a really easy way to make it so that you're not a complete butcher. Now that I have the world's crappiest welds on these rusty pipes, I got turn downs cut. They should work fine. Now I just got to stick everything back in there, and then we're going to test fire it, and that'll be the end of this video. I know it's hard to see in there, but check it out. It is done. I have to fix these clamps. I went to O'Reilly's and I bought just kind of some strap clamps. They didn't work because it didn't go down that step that you have when you overlap pipes. It tried. You can see it tried. But it is done and dusted. No real issues except for the ugly welds, but I didn't know what setting to put on my welder, and it's kind of hard to see lately, so forgive me for that. But everything else is tight. It is not going anywhere, and as a parent, that holds a lot of weight, just saying that. So I think the time has come for us to test it out. Here we go. Gear out of gear. I am going to let this place air out, but man, mission accomplished. That thing sounds perfect. It comes all the way down. I got to fix these clamps, like I said. They are the only real leaky spot that I found. Again, I tried. It didn't work. I can just rock auto some new clamps for $5 a piece or whatever. Maybe even $3 a piece. But it sounds awesome because everything is coming out of these turn downs and they're going straight into the ground. It's just perfect, and everything is packaged really well. It's hard to see through the bars, I know, I understand, but I mean, look at that. Ugly welds, but they're functional. Everything's perfect. I'm happy with it. Obviously, with my eye situation, it's been very, very difficult for the last few weeks for me to get out here. This is the first couple days that I've even been able to do things outside, except for walk to the car with sunglasses on because I can't stand the sunlight, and it's been really refreshing getting out here again. This is what I love to do, and this is what I've been itching to do for weeks, and man, it feels good. It feels like I have purpose again, and getting that done is a major hurdle. So we got that fixed. I got the exhaust manifolds and well, the gaskets, I should say, with the header gaskets fixed. I got the whole exhaust done. It is literally done except for the clamps, which I'm gonna order, but I don't need them at this very moment. The exhaust is solid. It's not going anywhere. It's packaged as low as I can humanly do it. Awesome. I'm gonna put the air box back on it. I'm going to put the tires and wheels back on it, and in the next video, we're finally gonna unbox the street stock because it's been in there for weeks and I haven't touched it. It's just sat in there. I think I undid the sway bar and just like made sure there were air in the tires. It's like all I did, just so things wouldn't go bad. But thank you so much, everybody, for your patience. Trust me, I know all about patience right now because my eyes are nowhere even near 100%. I can't read a hell of a lot. And just being able to come out here, it's done so much for me just psychologically. But now that the exhaust is done, like I said, we can get on to other things. So I'm very happy. But thank you so much for watching. I greatly appreciate it. Please subscribe if you have not already, and please tell your friends if they're anything automotive related, people, race cars, regular cars, mechanics, engineering, fabricators, anything of that nature. They can come and laugh at how bad I am at this, and you know, just as much as I do, I suppose. So thank you all again. I appreciate it. Expect more in the coming future, but until next time, thank you.